dad are out in the shop working on the race car here. He's rebuilding the brakes, and we got the rear end housing all set up in the car. We started doing the alignment. So now we'll walk you through what we did to get the alignment set up. So we got the rear end up in the car. Now we need to test its alignment, make sure it's straight and square. So you're going to want to do this. You're going to want the car on the ground, on stands, perfectly level, or however the car is supposed to sit. If there's a rake in the chassis or not, you need it on the ground and level, because the way we're going to do this with string lines and the measurements, you're going to want the car straight. It's not straight right now, it's up on the hoist, it's a little crooked, but when we did this, we did it on the ground. It's just hard to film. So now that we got the car up in the air, we can show you what we did. So we set up the string lines off of the front of the rotor here to give us an accurate measurement on both sides that we know would be the same from the cross member back. So with this string line, we can bring it down level with the cross member to get a good accurate measurement. The second tool you can see here is just a piece of angle iron bolted to the face of the rotor or axle. So this extends the line forward for us of the axle face, so we can get a measurement side to side. Now all these measurements will be referenced off the cross member of the car, which is this back part of the frame, and we're going to use the top bolt of the 4-link bracket to measure side to side. So if the car is made right, this bar is straight and square with the car, and the bracket's straight and square with the car, and the same on the bolt on the other side. So there's 3 points we're going to measure to set this up. We want it square and straight, front to back. We also want it centered in the car, which would be in and out. And we also want to know what the pinion angle is, so we can set that up as well. So to set your front and back, you're going to want to adjust the bottom bars. So if you need the rear end back a bit in the car, you lengthen them, shorten them, and you want them even. So what we do is we take tape measure. You measure off the cross member back. Do a little bit of a swipe here to get the best reading you can. So you usually go with the shortest measurement as you swipe it. That'll give you the most accurate measurement. So then you take that number, you write it down. Now you go to the other side of the car, do the same thing. Now if the number's not the same, you're going to want to adjust one of the bars to make it longer or shorter to get that number identical. So you basically back and forth with the bars to get it perfect. Keep measuring every time. Don't just go with the first number you got, because it might have changed as you adjusted them. So once that's all adjusted in and you got your side to side figured out, straight in and out, you'll go ahead and lock these lock nuts on these bars so they can't turn anymore. So that's set. Now the second measurement you're going to want to do is in and out, side to side of the car. So what you do is you take your tape measure again. Now where I have this bar set up here, I can measure off the top of the 4-link bracket, and I come out, you get your number, do the same thing on the other side, and if they're not the same, means your rear end isn't centered in the car side to side. So to fix that, you're going to have to adjust your whatever kind of locator you have. Either it's a track bar. In this case, we have a wishbone. So to adjust the wishbone, you're going to have to take the nuts off of the rod ends underneath here and extend or, retract the rod ends in the back of this housing. So as you do that in and out, you make little adjustments until you fine tune side to side. And then again, once you find your side to side, you lock it in. Okay, so the last measurement you want to do is set up your pinion angle here. So that's the angle difference between your drive shaft and your pinion and yoke here. So again, you want the car on the ground, level, and weight on the rear end, like the weight of the car on the rear end, so with the tires on. But it's hard to see with the tires on. So what we did was we let it down, put the transmission jack under the rear end, lifted it up until it came a little bit off the stands, and then we knew that all the weight of the car was on the rear end. So what you do is you take your digital angle finder or whatever kind of angle finding device you're going to use, put it on your drive shaft. You'll get a number, whatever that is. But if you can set that to 0, do that. So you set your drive shaft as your 0 angle, and then as you slide the angle finder back onto the top of this pinion housing here, which is machined flat and in line with the pinion yoke. So you put your angle finder here, and that'll give you an angle opposite the 0 angle you got from your drive shaft. So you take that number, and that's what your pinion angle would be. So we set this one as 1 degree down. So there's like a V. We got the drive shaft coming down and then the pinion coming down a bit at 1 degree difference. So that's what we set this one up as, and that's what most are set at. All right, so that's how we align the rear end in the car. Once we hit the track, we'll know if it is straight and the frame was square that we started from anyway. So if you have any questions or comments, just let me know in the section below, and we'll see you next time.